Recording has started.
Good morning, everybody. We're going to call to order the June 4th meeting of the Retirement Board for Center County. We have an agenda that was sent out by our controller, Jason Moser, and it's a Word document here. Okay. Minutes from our prior meeting, and that would be from May 15th. Is there a motion to approve those minutes?
So moved.
Second.
Okay, it's been moved and seconded. Any final discussion on the minutes? Hearing none, all in favor say aye. Aye.
Aye.
Okay.
Aye.
Motion is carried. Okay. Seeing no correspondence and seeing no old business, just to jump back up to old business, Jason, do we have the new ADC from Korn Ferry yet?
Yes. I think I sent that out, but let me just pull it up here real quick.
In my recollection was you had sent it out, but then we had a call with them and we had said we actually kept it at where we were at 7.25, but then we went back to it, and I thought that they still needed to send us new numbers based on 7.5.
Yeah, he and David got back to us around the 19th then of May, so just a few days later, and the new ADC for 2020 went from our estimated or our budgeted amount of 2.75 million to 2,062,783.
Right.
And as of the end of May, or as of May, the county has now completed that contribution for the 2020 calendar year.
Okay, excellent.
Right,
okay,
because Jason had sent me a memo to make a transfer for the final payment, and then he had me adjust it down based on the new ADC.
Okay, I'm seeing it now, Jason. Thank you. Yep, you're absolutely right. Wednesday, May 20th at 10 a.m., you had sent that out, and I even replied to it. So there you go. Okay.
Set.
Thank you. Okay, so but just to get that on the record,
Sure.
Again, that amount, if you would please.
It is $2,062,783, and we have fulfilled that obligation for 2020.
Okay, excellent. Okay, just wanted to note that, and that's a big deal in terms of our budget for this year. That is a huge help. We were, I believe, Tom's on the call. We were about $1.8 million of use of general fund revenue or general fund unreserved at the beginning of the year budgeting. So if this is coming in about $500,000, a little bit over that, that's a big help to the budget. So that's great news.
Yeah, it's a nice change.
Okay, super. All right. Moving then on to new business, we have the PFM retirement fund study, and we know that Margaret was helpful in getting us in touch with PFM, and Jason had a conversation with them. And so, Margaret, I don't know if there's anything you wanted to mention about this to give some background on how you connected Jason and everybody, and then we could go from there.
Okay, thank you. Yes, Jason and I were able to speak with an individual from the asset management side of the public financial management house. So just for some clarification, when we have a retainer agreement with PFM, it's really for financial advisory work. And under that financial advisory umbrella, PFM has helped us with consideration of how to go forward with bond issuances or loans or so forth. And Dan Kozlov is our point person. So I spoke initially with Dan Kozlov and explained just at a 30,000 foot level what I believe the retirement board was looking for. And he set up an opportunity for Jason to be introduced to the asset management side of the PFM house and to explore what they might be able to do. I'm just sharing this because it's why there is a an additional fee for this because it goes outside of the retainer that we have under financial advisory. So just for some background on that, and I'll stop there and let Jason pick up.
Sure. Thanks, Margaret. So it was Mark Amaturo at PFM that we spoke with. I sent out the engagement letter to everyone with the agenda and minutes for this meeting, but it does address what this project will be covering, which is a review of the actuarial report, our investment policy statement, our money managers, the fees currently being incurred by the fund, the total fund performance as a whole, so not by each individual manager, but how that looks across as the total, as the whole amount of the retirement fund, and then the pros and cons of a passive management / index funds, and then any options available going forward in terms of oversight for the total fund. And that fee for this total project will be $10,000 payable from the retirement fund, and I think it's important to note that it's in the engagement letter. Mark has noted this, but PFM also acts as passive managers for retirement funds. That fee would be credited back to us if we were to go with PFM, if we were to go this route, and if PFM was the firm selected for that. However, PFM is very aware that that's not a guarantee just because they are doing this project for us. But I thought that was important to note because it is in the engagement letter as well.
I would underscore that as well. We made it very clear. I made it clear to Dan right out of the gate that this was really exploratory, and there were no commitments to anything beyond because no decisions have been made yet. One of the values of this project, and Jason, you can correct me if I'm not exactly stating this the right way, but this study would bring together data and analyses of all components of our retirement fund and processes in a way that we've never really had anyone analyze it before. We've had analysis by different fund managers. We've had other people look at our actuarial pieces, but this would actually integrate all of those pieces into one document so that we could really get a sense of where we are and also where we've been, because they did ask for some previous year data so that they can go back and assess exactly how this all has fit together. So I don't know, Jason, if you think that's an accurate portrayal of the project, but that's kind of what I got out of it.
Sure, yeah, and that is correct. This is a really pretty big overview of the entire retirement fund that I don't believe has been. We've had other actuaries look at the retirement fund stuff as well, to Margaret's point, but I don't think anything to this level. And it is, I am still working on compiling some of the data for it, but they're going to be looking back to probably about 2015 forward. So it's going to be almost a 4-year and a quarter and a half look at the retirement fund. So it's a pretty big look at the fund. I'm happy to answer any questions or.
Yeah, thank you, Jason. And just to reflect back on how we got here, this was really coming out of a discussion that we had after our last. And this is my standpoint. After the last two reports that we had, quarterly reports that we received from Twin Capital and C.S. McKee, and in the C.S. McKee perspective, over their last 15 years, they have essentially been tied with the benchmark. There hasn't really been any, from that standpoint, just benefit being with them. We're not seeing any added value. With Twin Capital, our perspective was that fund that we had that with them was going to be able to weather rockier waters, and that was what they had promoted, saying that the type of portfolio you have with Twin Capital, this type of investment strategy will align the county that when the market goes down, we will not go down as much as the market, and that, or as the benchmark, and that didn't happen. We performed worse than that. So that led us to discuss looking at potentially passive management, which would help us to lock in lower fees and also just perform as the market does. And as we clearly have seen from two of our advisors, they have not been able to outmaneuver the market. Emerald, on the other hand, is a niche. They're very specific. They look at a specific small cap and have done very well, actually, and it beat the benchmark consistently. Just then a historical perspective for Jason and Colleen is in 2018, the retirement board had done a study with Chuck Freelander, who is a financial analyst who provided us a study looking at a lot of different things within our portfolio. And my recollection was that was a $30,000 study that was performed and again used a retirement fund to pay for it. And so this would be a $10,000 study, and similarly coming out of that portfolio or out of our retirement fund. So just in terms of how we got here, but I'm very supportive of it. I think if there's more time that we'd want to take to review, if there's any questions we'd want to have Jason go back to PFM with, or if PFM would want to do a presentation for us, whatever we would get to, whatever position we'd have to get to be comfortable with this. But I think it's in the best interest of the county and for our retirement fund to look at how we can lock in lower fees and potentially have some savings through some other means. They may be able to have our custodian. Many times passive managers will not charge a fee for custodian services, and we would get savings there as well. So I'll stop there, but in terms of how we proceed from here, we could approve the letter today, the engagement letter today. We could get some more information via Jason from PFM, or we could go another route. So I'll leave it up there for discussion and comment.
Mike,
I have a question for you, Mike.
Oh, sure.
What was the nature of the study that was done in 2018?
Yeah, so I've been trying to. I was trying to find it on my computer before then, but my emails might not go back until 2018. One of the things that I know some of the members of the retirement board were interested in was that rate of return, and we had seen other counties changing the rate of return. Some were moving to different lower returns because the market wasn't performing in certain years, and so it would give a more accurate perspective of what our ADC should be. And so I know that was part of the study, but there wasn't really anything. It was basically looking at just how we were performing. Honestly, I cannot remember the specifics other than the fact that we were curious about the rate of return and what that would mean for the portfolio.
So did that report
Again,
inform the decision to drop the rate of return assumption?
It was considered, yes. When that decision was ultimately made and discussed, that was a part of it.
Okay. Does anyone else have any recollection of this study?
Colleen, this is Jason. Sorry, I know I wasn't here then, but I was able to find that report, which I am happy to share again to those that were there and to those newly coming to it. But it was an experience study investigating the actuarial experience for the pension plan. So they're reviewing how actual results match the actuarial assumptions over a 5-year period from 2013 to 2017.
Oh, okay.
Okay.
Thank you. And then I have a question for Jason. In the records that I have from Rich, I have a few of the invoices from our fund managers, and I'm seeing $12,000 in change from Twin. I'm seeing $19,000 in change from Emerald. I didn't see anything from CS McKee. I was wondering if you have already looked at approximately how much we spend annually on fees for these funds.
Good question. I didn't do an annual look, but I did do so far just from January 1, 2020 through the end of April, and so far we have paid just shy of $400,000 in fees to all three
Wow.
money managers in Wilmington Trust.
And do those payments come out of the retirement funds?
They do come out of the retirement fund, yes.
Okay. Wow. I had no idea it
Wait,
was that high.
Jason, say that figure again in the time frame.
So that's from January 1, 2020 through the end of April 2020. And we are, now, mind you that some of the payments in January would have been for services
2019.
at the end of 2019, but
Yeah.
it's $393,700.68.
Holy free holies.
Okay.
I had no idea it was that high.
Yeah, it's a good. CS McKee, by and large, is the largest of those.
Right.
But Colleen, this is Mark. I do want to mention that CEDACOG, which had a smaller pension system than we do, I also serve on their finance committee. They were paying 100 basis points to a financial advisor to administer their smaller pension. After putting it out for bid, I think they got down to something like 50 or 55 basis points.
Yeah.
I think we're paying somewhere in the upper 30s, 37, 38 basis points.
Okay.
So
Thanks for that
it does seem
comparison.
like a very large number, and we should certainly look at it in great detail. We're already kind of at the lower end on a basis point figure than
Right.
most other counties our size.
Okay. So when you say 33 basis points, that's approximately 3% or 0.3%?
Correct. It's actually, I think, closer to 0.4%.
Okay. 3 and change.
It's like 37, 38
Gotcha.
basis points.
Okay. Thanks very much for that. I appreciate it.
Okay. Any other questions or discussion about this? Perspectives? Okay.
In the scope of things, a $10,000 fee doesn't sound like that much now.
No, I mean, I'd be comfortable making a motion to approve the engagement letter moving forward with the fee.
Okay. All right. Would you want to make that official then?
Yes, motion to take on PFM to complete the study on our retirement fund at the fee of $10,000.
I'll second that.
Okay. It's been moved and seconded. Further discussion, further questions on this?
Yeah, I was wondering,
And-
do they have any sample documents available? Just sort of like the base template without the numbers of the investment fund's name in it?
They haven't sent any, but I can certainly request that.
So just to see what kind of information we'll be getting.
Sure.
Right, yeah, because if we're spending 10 grand, they give us at least a vague idea in the engagement letter, but, you know, what does it actually look like? Are we going to get something back that's 10 or 15 pages long, or are we going to get something back that's 30 pages long with links to websites and other research materials?
Sure.
So Mark, would you recommend then not approving the letter at this time until we get that information?
Or make it.
Well, I'd like to see what the rest of the committee thinks, because I like the concept in general, especially since it's substantially less than a fee we paid a couple years ago.
Yeah, I would agree with Commissioner Higgins. I think that would be a good deliverable or a good example for us to get prior to approving the letter. I think I'm comfortable with it, but with approving the letter today. But I do think that would be an additional if they could send us something again, yeah, like you said, Mark, taking the name out. Chuck Freelander had done that. He had basically sent us what Dauphin counties was. He had just done a study for Dauphin County, and he provided us with snippets of that. And again, it's public information in terms of what these numbers are. But I think that's a good idea. So if we could get that, I think I'd be in favor then of approving the letter at a future retirement board meeting here in June.
Sure.
So should we amend the motion to approve the letter pending sample documents from PFM?
In terms of, I think maybe just, removing the motion, I'd support removing the motion in the second, and then just giving
And then we'll
feedback
table
to
it.
Jason. Yeah, we could table it as well. Yes. Yep.
Okay, then I'll move that we table the motion until we get sample documents from PFM.
So in terms of the motion, there's still a motion on the floor. So there's still the motion to approve the letter. So we would need to remove that and then table it.
Okay, so do I need to move to remove the movement?
Yeah, if you and Jason are comfortable with revoking your motion in second, that works.
Yeah, I'll revoke my motion.
Revoke.
Okay. All right. Great. So then, Treasurer.
Oh, then I'll move that we table the motion to approve the letter from PFM until we get sample documents.
Second.
Okay. It's been moved and seconded. Any final feedback on that? Commissioner Higgins, I think that's an excellent point, and I think it would assist us even more in figuring out ultimately what product they're going to be sending to us. So I think that's a great idea. Any other discussion
Thanks,
on
Mike. I
tabling?
Just want to see if
Yeah.
there was any research materials that they would attach with the document.
Like appendices
Absolutely.
and such.
Yeah, no, that's a good point.
Yeah.
That's a good point. Fair point.
Any other discussion on the motion to table? Okay. Hearing none, all in favor say aye. Aye?
Aye.
Aye.
Okay. Motion, and then any opposed say nay. Hearing none, the motion carries unanimously. Okay. All right. That was all that we had for new business. Is there any other items to come under new business for discussion? Okay, hearing none. It looks like that we could do either the 11th or the 18th, Jason. So if you wanted to work with Natalie Smith and obviously Colleen to find out when works for us. But on a quick glance at commissioner calendars, it looks like both dates work at 11. But again, you can confirm with Natalie.
Okay, sounds good. I did already, while on the call, send an email off to Mark at PFM for that additional documentation. So hopefully by today we might even have it.
Oh, excellent. Okay.
Yeah,
All right,
I want to say
anything
real quickly, the
No,
18th
please go ahead.
doesn't work for me. 18
does not. Okay. All right. So we'll see if the 11th can work. If not, we'll take it from there. Okay. All right. Any other discussion items to come before the retirement board before we look to adjourn at 11:26? Hearing none, is there a motion?
Motion to adjourn.
Motion to adjourn.
Second.
All right. We're adjourned. Thank you, everybody.
Thank you.
Thank you.
Thanks.